It's 3:12. The Prime Minister has held a press conference today with new plans to go after terrorists here in Australia, people who are dual citizens, and those people that have a little trouble embracing the Australian part of their lives. There will not be a lot of people disagreeing with this, I would think. I see that the Greens are speaking out against it. New South Wales Civil Liberties are against it. But I think the opposition will end up supporting all of this, and obviously the government will go gung-ho on it. The PM was very strong as he talked about it when he was speaking about Man Monis and the Martin Place siege.
It's clear that in too many instances the threshold for action was set too high, and that the only beneficiary of that was the Martin Place murderer himself.
All right, there he was. He spoke a lot more. It was a long press conference. There is still some detail to find out here, but I think here is the key question. With the proposed changes that he's thinking about with the dual citizens and the crackdown here, would they have actually stopped Man Monis? I mean, you'd hope so, but is it actually just the broader system that let us down here? Welfare and courts and bail and the whole bit. I mean, would this have actually changed anything? Will a clampdown on dual citizenship actually stop a person like Man Monis, or would they need to commit a quote-unquote terrorism type crime? Well, it might, but I don't think we know that. Here's probably the bigger change. Here's the thing that he tried to really single out here when he was talking. I think it's a big change and a bigger opportunity too. The Prime Minister today was suggesting that there's nothing wrong with pledging loyalty to Australia. The PM himself gave the pledge in the press conference.
I pledge my commitment to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey.
There he was. He gave the Australian Pledge of Allegiance, or whatever we call it in Australia. I think the mere fact that I don't even know what we call it in Australia and I don't know those words. In America, they would know those words. Look, I think talk about Team Australia is rubbish. And, you know, you can overdo patriotism. What did Samuel Johnson say? That patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel. But sometimes, with what we've seen with the Islamic State, with what we've seen with Man Monis, with what we've seen with other suspected acts of terrorism here, other attempted acts of terrorism in Australia, maybe, you know, just maybe a little bit of patriotism directed in the right spot would be okay. If you went to another country, and whenever you talk about another country, there's only two you tend to pick from, China or the United States. You pick one or the other, whether you want it to be a good thing or a bad thing. For example, if you went to the United States and you wanted to become a citizen of the United States, or even a dual citizen, they would expect you to take that pledge. For some reason in Australia, we kind of we push it away a little bit. We kind of resist that pledge. I don't know whether we think it's a little bit dicky, or we think we'll sound odd while we'll do it, or we're worried about being American too much. But maybe a little bit of that love for country to say we pledge loyalty to it, we want to protect Australia, is actually not such a bad thing. I would hate the thought of us turning up at work at 9 o'clock every day and we had to stand up and face the sun and put our hands on our hearts and give a pledge of loyalty to Australia. We don't want to go that far, but I think there was something good from the PM there to say that a little pledge of loyalty in this country is actually not such a bad thing.